Learn life. There's levels to the shit.
Yo, Maze, what's going on?
What's good, man?
What's going on? He's like the finesse thing, yeah? Yeah.
Quickly. That was dope. I like that. I was like, yeah. That was decent. What's good, man?
Nothing much, man. Like we were just speaking before, innit? I come off that 108-hour fast. I told you I was getting happier towards the end of it, man.
Why'd you stop though?
Strangely. Because it's my anniversary weekend. And I would have carried on. And the missus was like, oh, we're not gonna go eat anything, or obviously we can't go out, but we can bring some stuff in. She's like, oh yeah. So then that's the only reason I broke it. Then obviously I've been eating like dirt, bruv. And you realize quickly, like your body actually works quickly to expel all the badness. So
Very.
yeah. So I was gassed because all the stuff I'm eating. Like today, in fact, I had jerk chicken and rice and peas. Yeah, yard food.
Today.
And my body, yeah.
Mad.
After that, and my body's just like, nope, you do not like this food anymore. Literally, my body's talking to me like that. So,
bro, I think I like it.
What'd you say?
I like it. I like a bit of jerk chicken and rice and peas.
No, don't get me twisted. I do generally, but like my whole system is just changing because even leading up to this, I was eating more like vegetarian and vegan, and my whole taste buds just totally shifted. So a lot of meat these days for me is just like, okay, cool, I enjoy it, but you know, when you're younger, right, and like you just eat like some grilled chicken and it's just banging. And you had this like feeling of this like, yeah, this is the one. I don't get that feeling anymore, especially with me. I don't. Especially in this country. But when I go to Spain, different matter.
Good food though.
Good food. And you realize how much the food here is
Sucks.
so processed. It's
Sucks.
dead.
Absolutely sucks. So like we went to Portugal in oh god, I can't remember now. I think it was July.
Big up everybody, by the way. Sorry, go on.
Shouts to everyone, man. Welcome.
Yeah, we didn't even say that. Sorry, guys. We're new to this. If you didn't know,
in a way.
if you didn't know,
yeah, the food was different. The food was different. It was, but in a good way.
Yeah,
it was
in
a good way. The food was
fresh.
Good. Like I really appreciated the food in Portugal. I appreciate the weather as well.
Yeah, of course. Bruv, the combination helps all day, every day. All day, every day. Let me just quickly log on something. Oh, by the way, guys, our guest Nicole, she's just running a little bit late. She had important business to deal with. So she's just running a little bit late, but she will be joining us soon enough. So yeah, she's coming on.
You guys can go and check out her music.
Yo, did you actually check out her EP? Yo,
Yeah,
let me mute this. Sorry,
I'm feeling the Apocalypse and the 1992 joints. I like those.
Yeah, Dan, Duppy boy. Oh, Duppy just RIP. Not to you itself, obviously, Dan, but yeah, Duppy in the house. My boy from Salesian College, my secondary school pal. No, but sorry, going back to Nicole. What I loved about her EP was that it brings back that feel of good R&B.
Yeah,
like I forgot who the producer was.
I was gonna say it was quite refreshing.
Smashed it. Yeah,
it's like really refreshing to hear that kind of music.
Because you don't.
What do you think though? You think we're moving away from that kind of stuff? There's less and less people doing that real sort of like, you know.
Well, it's
like, you know, we're moving towards that Megan the stallion.
Do you know what though? That's because a lot of artists these days can't really sing. So when you're saying R&B singers, like unless you're of the like LMA ilk, which a lot of people are feeling these days, and the Georgia Smith ilk, like I'm not dumbing down their voice. Yo, what's good, J Cass? What's good, bro? I'm not dumbing down their voice at all, but and not only because she's just coming on this, but when you hear like a Nicole sing, like she's singing, like she's singing. Whereas LMA and Georgia Smith, they're singing, but they have what I term a generic voice. Like, you know, when Funky House came about, everybody had this kind of same lazy singing, almost like tone deaf. This can sound not
All of
tone
the
deaf,
vocals
but
were the
off
same.
singing, huh?
All the vocals were sounded pretty much the same on a lot of those songs.
Precisely. So these days, I'm hearing Georgia Smith. There goes my camera again. Bloody hell.
Yeah, you and this camera, bro.
But yeah, they all sounded the same, and this is what I'm getting at. Like Georgia Smith, LMA. For me, sometimes you could put one track on, and you just think, okay, who's who? You can't tell the difference. Whereas if we start reeling off Whitney, Mariah, Kelly LaRock, not Kelly LaRock, what's her name? Oh, not Kelly LaRock. She sang in the
Soul
tunes.
singer.
Oh, I mean Kelly LaRock's legit. Like she does her thing, but she's not the one
Yeah.
I'm thinking about. I forgot her name.
She's a good singer
Forgot her
still.
name. But what's her name? What's Missy Elliott's one as well? The one with a real husky voice.
Missy Elliott.
No, she did a tune with Missy Elliott. You need to get us up.
Tweet.
But Tweet live. Whoa, she's deep, but she wasn't even the one I'm thinking of. She's just where you want to be. I forgot her name.
Oh, I know who. I played that today. Keisha Cole.
Like you, but you know when these artists start singing, you know who they are one by one. You know who they are. These days, everybody's folding into one, and that's what I think. That's why we start to move away from production tracks like what you see on this EP from Nicole, and you get less and less of them because I think. I mean, we'll talk to Nicole when she comes on how she feels things are going, and yeah, we'll just get more of an insight. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, for real.
So yeah, man.
I think you know what? I think what it is, a lot of the real. I don't want to, shit on anybody's careers or nothing, but I think a lot of the real singing. In fact, you know what? I'm just gonna put it out there. A lot of the real singing they've got their own little niche. They've got their own little spot. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's moving away from the mainstream. If you want to hear that real music now, you're gonna have to go looking for it. It's not really in your face no more.
No, you have to dig and dig and dig. But hence why I'm trying to create this on levels, so you don't have to dig too deep to find. If you just want good quality music, you don't have to dig too deep to find it. You get me?
It's mad because it's just like there used to be a real need, for singers, like proper singers on tracks. And I feel like the demand for that has probably gone down a little bit because everybody's kind of rapping and, drilling these days. So, it's just gone in a different direction. But it's like I said, it's kind of refreshing to hear.
No, it's fully refreshing. It's fully refreshing. Remember when you came to Levels Lounge, like I felt all of the talent on that night was real good. Obviously, there's the ones who like proper stood out, but generally speaking, I mean, when the artists themselves are coming away surprised by the level of talent that they never even knew kind of existed around them, and they're in the same pool. To me, that speaks volumes of what's going on in terms of like music being filtered.
Yeah, I think you know what it is. I think obviously like events like Levels, and I think you got not that many like that around anymore. So like where you're showcasing proper artists. I'm not saying that these other guys aren't artists again, but in terms of like real singing, proper vocals, some real talented people. The last Levels, was it June?
End of July.
So listen, if you guys are listening, and you can get onto the Levels Instagram, go and check out some of the guys that were down at the last level. There were some really, really good people down there.
Yeah, man.
Different flavors as well. Had some reggae, had some soul. Like it was nice. It's nice, man.
People.
So,
and the thing
if you're a producer and you want to find some vocals,
keep your eyes peeled on Levels. Keep your eyes peeled on Levels because there's so much coming through, and I mean, I'm not going to announce it just yet, but there's an exciting project on the way. with the Levels Lounge and how that's going to be constructed going forward, which is, I feel, again, what is really needed in terms of the singing platform here. Because when people think of UK R&B, you can't really name too many artists, unfortunately. And again, you'll name the bait ones, but that's not what this is for. It's about, okay, let's open your
you
eyes a
call
little
it
bit more,
debate
open
ones
up.
though, but I kind of look at it like they're the ones that they're the best ones. They're some of the best ones.
Like who?
So like the LMAs, and they're some of the best to come out of the UK.
Oh yeah, 100%. But
When I'm not gonna lie to you, like I say for about a month, and I think you could probably shout Natty on this as well. LMA we would drop that weekly.
Really?
Weekly. Just weekly.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
you could do.
You know what I mean? Weekly. I mean, I'm not Georgia Smith? She's decent as well, man.
It's not bad at all.
I mean, I'm not shitting on her parade. She's a good artist as well. I just think I don't think they're the same. I think they're both a little bit different, but they've got the flavor, man.
They do, and they're the flavor of the moment. Is probably how we can best put it. Get me? But that's more of what I'm trying to say. There's more of them out there. There's many more. There's probably
Undiscovered
ones which are better.
Do you think what we're dealing with right now is like a one in, one out of the mainstream?
Of course. No, of course. It's like there's only space for one of you to take off. Like, well, right now there's two of them. Or well, you can't classify Steph London in that category, but in terms of just outright singers,
No,
it's only Georgia and LMA.
Yeah,
for me, in my mind.
Steph's more of a performer, man. She comes with the performance. Yeah. Like, you know. Yeah. Again, she's a good artist that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, no, she didn't. And this is what I'm talking about. Our underground scene isn't this is why the revival of Channel U has been actually quite important. I think it gives birth to our underground again.
Yeah.
Because Steph had actually been around for a little bit. She really had
Channel U times.
Not Channel U times, but generally speaking, if Channel U was still there, like, trust me, you would have heard a lot more about Steph.
I tell you, like, places like I don't know, you could say Link Up TV and some of those, man, like, they bust people.
Yeah, they do.
Some of those guys bust people. So, but Channel U coming back is a big thing for the UK.
Massive. I think it's a bit slept on.
Yeah, it's a good move, man.
It is. Again, when you see some of the stuff that they're trying to do, they're trying to convert a lot of the YouTube stuff onto Channel U. I think not Backchat London, like a show similar to that was probably going to appear on that way. I just saw like a clip of a whole bunch of women in the music industry just grouped around the table.
Or
I forgot what they were talking about. Effectively, they were doing something, but you can tell when stuff like that is happening, it's room for conversation, which we're about to commence with Nicole. It's just that's what we need. There's a lot of conversations which need to be had. I think there's a lot more unity which needs to be done within our industry. I keep preaching 100%. That, and stuff like this will probably go a way to help do that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like what we're getting at the moment sometimes with, I don't know if I want to call it the mainstream, but what you're getting really is that are just the loudest,
doing it for the gram.
Yeah, some of the people that are probably the loudest. I don't think we're getting the most talented people coming through in the UK.
Well,
I don't think that's happening. That's my personal opinion. I don't think we're getting the most talented people come through because down, the event in South London Fusion events. Shout out Mike, big up Mike. We actually bring a lot of artists down. Mike has a lot of connections with some up and coming artists. Some of them are good, and others are just hungry.
Yeah,
others are just hungry and they just want to get their stuff out there.
Yeah.
And when you've got these hungry people, what you find is some of the really talented people kind of just fall back. I don't think they don't feel like they have to fight that hard for it. But the problem is, because it's so noisy out there, you're gonna have to put the work in to get heard, man. So you're gonna have to be as noisy as the lesser talented people if you want to get yourself seen or heard, man.
But it's like last week's conversation with us in DJing. It's a case of, like I was saying before, who wants to lick your batty the most?
Ooh.
It's who wants to lick your batty the most, because you probably have something to give more time than not.
Do you think the industry's like that though? You think the industry's about kind of, again?
Do you know what? We will find out.
You call it networking, or you could call it batty licking.
Exactly, no, but we'll find out. We'll find out very soon with hopefully the people that we get through onto this. Hopefully the people we get through can shed some light on their experiences. Hopefully Nicole can shed some light onto her experiences throughout the time, throughout her journey, let's say. Because
research, man, she's had a bit of a journey still, and she's obviously still going. So
yeah,
it's mad.
And the thing is sometimes you fall into a lane which you're comfortable with and you keep your integrity. But I guess everybody who starts in this singing thing, they have an upward trajectory, which they want to say, okay, cool, I want to hit here. But then very soon they get to certain places, and then all of a sudden you have to do this, you have to do that, and you have to do this. And you lose your integrity throughout all of that stuff. And then it becomes almost like...
Of course. This is the thing, though. It's
what are we doing here?
Look, and I'm not saying everyone, but it's IG. IG seems to be a place where a lot of discoveries are being made at the moment. And the less clothes you've got on IG, whether you're male or female, LGBT, all of that. All of that. You represent, whatever. The less clothes you've got on, the better
more
it
you'll
is.
sell.
Sometimes
the more wild you are.
That's a legit thing. Because people don't want to flip in. They don't want to stop and listen. Like, the attention span nowadays is so short. It's like, if you can see some skin, yeah, cool. I must stay
it attracts you
longer.
Yes, and Ashman as well.
Yes, Ash. Welcome, my bro. Hey, listen.
Later.
Short story. Me and Ash used to ball together back in the day,
Bruv, but it's like, who didn't this brother ball with?
I ball with everyone.
It's true. Do you know what? I saw a picture of you, Deng, and JJ from your Hackney phone. I was like, rah.
Hey, listen, you see that team?
Was good, Ashman. Yo, big DJ. He's one of the people. You don't know this. You inspired me to start DJing as well. I saw the fame you were getting. I was hating.
That's Ash, man. But yeah, that Hackney team was just crazy, bro.
Bruv, it was illegal, bruv. It shouldn't have been allowed. And even Laddie was on that picture as well.
So I think that was our under 16s team, bruv.
That's illegal, bruv.
Crazy. It was illegal. Laddie, Jay was on there.
Bruv, it's illegal. That guy with his Congolese hops, bruv. That would jump out buildings.
Patrick, I don't know if you remember Patrick. Patrick went States in the end, but Patrick.
Yeah, I do remember him. Yeah, those Patrick and Laddie, I never talked to like that. I wasn't pals with like that. But obviously, playing ball with you guys, you know of people, because the balling sector is so small.
Yeah, in this country,
the community is so tiny. Like you got flipping dinosaurs like flipping Taran, who's just shelling on people still to this day.
Yeah, man.
Still to this day, it's just not fair.
You know what? When it comes back again, there's a little spot in South, man.
Where? Clapham.
Oh man, no, just around the corner from my spot still. It's decent. It's every Tuesday or Wednesday.
On pickups.
Little run. Winner stays on though, so.
Jeez, Albert Marguy just jumped in the thing as well. Man, flipping Albert, legend. Albert, what's going on?
Again, another person I used to ball with.
Bro, I couldn't even contend with that guy. Very few people could, but still. What's good, Albert? I haven't seen him in a while. Bro, the guy was so good.
Man like Albert,
Remember we had this conversation a while ago? About if there was one person that comes to anybody's mind that should have gone further than they did. There's always one person that comes to a lot of people's minds.
No, you know what? To be honest, Albert put in the
I'm not
work.
saying, but I'm not saying no. It's not. I'm not saying it's Albert. I'm not saying it's Albert. Oh no, I need to
No?
send the next link. I'm not saying it's Albert. Eddie.
Eddie. Oh shit. Eddie was good though. Eddie was good. I don't know what happened to Eddie.
I mean,
Albert might be able to tell you what happened to Eddie.
boy, Albert, you can jump on if you want. But to me, there's a whole bunch of people. Albert should look to me. I'm not saying again, not because you're here, but I watched you play a couple times from Midnight Madnesses to flipping Coach Solomon in what's it called in London Met, and the guy should have gone further, in my opinion. But again, this is what we're talking about.
Listen,
This is the circles in the UK. It's like where will they push you to? Where will they help you get to? And at the end of the day, if you're not the boy of the coach, you're not going to get far.
You think so?
And it's who's gone a significant way without being.
I think we've had quite a few successful UK players, man.
Exported.
Yeah, obviously because
Okay, we've had Pop Spencer and we've had Luau.
They've hit the pinnacle. They've hit the league,
and that's what everybody should be aiming for.
They hit the league. But look, you can't sleep on the European leagues either, man. The European leagues are decent, especially if you're aiming to be a pro. I think
100%.
Spain's got a good league. I know Italy's got a good league. They ball. Yeah. So it's mad. But yeah, man.
Yeah, but I mean, my coach was leave me out. I'm just flying the wall. You man looking good though, lockdown beard. No, what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. I lost my train of thought. That comment.
No, we're talking about like succeeding and where you should aim for in terms of.
You should always aim high. You should always aim like to reach your pinnacle. Correct. You should always. So
to be honest, I think everyone that got into basketball when they were younger, it was always the dream was to do the best league in the world. So
100% fine.
No one gets into sport thinking, you know what, I'm just gonna play Sunday league or
fine. Ash and Albert, you guys are in here. What are your reasons that if you're still in here anyway? What are your reasons for getting into ball? And when you were balling, what did you aim to achieve from that? If you guys are still here anyway, drop your thing. Because me, it was just recreational. I was never like on you man's level. I was just like the guy that was just running like a madman, and like the boys won't even let me hoop these days because my knees are so bad. They think as soon as I step on the court, my ACL's gonna go. Like my ACLs are like that, bro. They're glass. My ACLs are glass, bro. They're dead. They're dead. I busted my ACL way too many times. I'm here. I'm actually trying to just holler at Nicole right quick. Where is she?
Man. Try and get her on. Boy, coming up, it was crazy. I think there was a lot of good ballers, man, but I don't think they were really paying attention to European stock. From what I heard, because I don't know if you know Kane. You know Kane?
Kane who?
Kane Carter.
Yeah.
Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he went States, man, and obviously because we play together. Like me and him had the same residency in it, so we were just in different rooms, and we would talk a lot about baller, and then told me about him going to States, and yeah, it's mad. It's just when you're from the UK, I feel like you've got to be extra special.
That was the dream for a lot of the man them, innit? To try and reach that pinnacle. But I think a lot of these guys were able to go out to the basketball camps in Philly. I remember Deng JJ coming back and telling me about these camp stories and whatnot, how lots of people were there. So I mean, I guess we did to some degree have the opportunities, but did we get the look in? Who knows?
But to be honest, you got to look at it and think how many people every year are trying to get to that level.
No, of course, but think about where the UK, although we're not the biggest place, surely our pool and the experience that some people have had from the stateside, at whatever level, even say Matthew Bryant, he went to, he was playing for the Washington Huskies, was it? I forgot who he was playing for when he went college out there. But that's a wealth of experience there. Like, it's a shame that he never made it.
You know what?
Um,
I don't feel like we got enough funding and stuff in the UK, man. I don't feel
my
like
point in case.
I don't feel like there's enough for that sport, because there's you ask a young kid that's into sport, what do they want to do? They want to play football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't want to do the basketball thing. They don't want to do that. So
For real. Yo, Nicole just stepped in the building. I'm just gonna bring her in, yeah?
Let's do this.
Let's go. And my one went off.
Oh.
My one went off. Yo, Nicole, can you hear us? Hello, Nicole? I just tried to jump her in.
Is she frozen?
No, she's there. She's active, but she's there, but I can't really see her on the thing. Oh. Yeah, she's frozen.
She froze.
Yeah, she froze.
Go to tell her to jump out and jump back in.
Yeah. But I just logged her out. But just going back to it anyway. Hopefully we can get something out of Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, she jumped on the stream, but she froze when I was strange. Going back to what we were saying, maybe we can ask Nicole about. There we are. Hey Nicole,
Hello.
can you hear us? Hey darling.
Yeah.
Hey, you're right.
Sorry.
Welcome.
How are you?
How are you?
You just froze again.
Again?
Oh no, there you go. That's better.
I can hear you and see you fine.
Yeah, cool. How are you? Damn, yeah, it's big, man.
Good. Yeah, it's been a long day, but I'm here.
Welcome to the Levels. Thanks.
you.
First guest. Round of applause. First guest.
Welcome.
Yeah. Let's cut straight into it. Because I know you had a busy day.
Yeah.
Up north and back and that.
You know, back and forth, right? From Manchester.
Yeah. For 3 minutes, yeah?
Yeah, literally. It's literally like 8-hour journey for 3 minutes for a 3-minute song. So
Damn. But hey, I guess it's worth it to some degree, and if you're making
yeah.
those journey, it must be worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, tell us and the viewers, who is Nicole Thalia, please?
So I am a singer-songwriter. I'm based in London, but I'm originally from Italy. I was born in Rome. In 2012, I moved to the UK. I've always done music. I started when I was really young. But in 2012, I've flown over here. And yeah, I just wanted to pursue the dream of just like, you know, being a full-time musician and singer, and eventually starting with my music, which is what I've done in 2018. And yeah, I do predominantly R&B, but I also venture in different genres as well, like gospel as well. So my music is heavily influenced by gospel, which is what I do as my full-time job. So I kind of get it, I kind of get the influence with my music. And yeah, I'm a Christian, but I sing secular music. So I take pride in joining the two things in my own way. And yeah, my EP just came out on Friday. Released.
We're just discussing it.
Yeah, yes. Friday 27th.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's available everywhere. So
yeah. No, lovely. I mean, we were just discussing that at the top of the show, or just before, as to two things. And I said to Dan, it's not just because you're coming on the show, but it's your sound is a very traditional R&B sound. That from when I first heard your track, If Only, which we then reposted obviously on ours, and we've been talking since. And then this whole body of work, it feels like in the same ilk, cut from the same cloth, and that. Yeah. Like, we don't see music like that these days. So why do you personally think that is?
I think that I found a great match with my.
No.
Okay. Like, we're a dynamic duo.
Okay.
I'm still here. Am I still here?
You're still here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we are a dynamic duo. Like, we get each other so much, and the body of work is cohesive, because we literally, from the first track to the last, you can hear that it's us all the time, and we're not trying to do anyone else. I was very conscious when I've started writing my music. I was like, this doesn't sound like anyone. And in the beginning it was scaring me. Whereas
Why?
because I was like, well, where do I fit? Like radio wise, where am I going to fit? But actually, especially after, the whole year of pandemic and stuff, I actually realized that that's exactly the reason why I had to release. Because I feel like nowadays everyone is just, doing music. Everyone just wants to put music out. But I think the quality sometimes is not as good. Just because they just want, some people are just trying it out, so it's cool. Others are just probably thinking that it's actually easier than it is, so maybe they're just rushing to finding the right partners to write with, the team, the manager, or they don't even know where they want to sit in the industry. I have a very clear vision of what I would like, where I would like to be, so hopefully this is just the first step.
So how long did it take you to finish your last body of work? Like, how long did that take?
It took a full year. I started last year in November 2019. So I like this. I think I'll remember this for a very long time, not just because it's my first EP, but I think also because you can hear the journey that I've done with my producer. We literally wrote the first song together of the EP, which is Don't Mean to Say, and also the very last one, which is Apocalypse. We wrote them together.
We were just talking about that. 1992 and Apocalypse.
Mad. Production. Mad.
Mad. Yeah. Go on. Sorry, I cut you off.
I call Apocalypse a bad boy beat because for me, it's just like, it's literally I probably heard like 2 seconds and I was like, what's that? I was like, oh, I'm working on this for you. I was like, no, you need to leave. I think I was leaving from the session and I was like, no, I need to listen to this beat. And actually originally it was a lot more hip hop, like more drill, and I had to, change.
Sorry, my bad.
The plug in there.
But yeah, it was a lot more like a lot heavier for my voice. But we had to, work on it because I think he just worked on it one night randomly, and he was like, "Oh, I've got this ready," and and then in a couple of days. I got back actually I had to think about the melody. Normally I'm very quick, but for that one I was like, I need to find a melody that serves the beat right. So it took a while, but after a week we were basically done. I got back for a session, did the first, and then my best friend, who was my producer's wife, we literally sat all together in the room and I came out with this melody for the bridge, dun, da, 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 and slowly found the words and then laid out harmonies and all that.
And then bish bash bosh.
And it all came up.
Listen.
That's crazy.
Listen.
I mean, obviously, because you guys put some proper, you could kind of hear it. You clearly put some work, and you could feel the passion in the music as well. And obviously, talking earlier about your space and kind of where you are with the vocals and stuff. We don't really hear that kind of stuff as much anymore. And it's kind of, we were just saying, it's kind of refreshing to hear that kind of music right now, because not everyone, but the music scene kind of sort of like is geared towards that fast stuff where it's like in and out. Like you listen to songs these days and it's like, you could listen to it for maybe once or twice, but then after that it's like, oh, this is actually trash. So
I was talking about it this morning with another friend of mine who's an artist as well. We're just talking about longevity. I just feel like it's
out the window. It's non-existent.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't think about it, and obviously some of the songs are really cool, but they're just for a season. Whereas everyone, like I think the purpose of every artist should try and be the one to aim for longevity at least, because obviously it can't, and it's not guaranteed, especially in the beginning when you're trying it out, where you sit in, what's your sound, but after a while it's necessary, because otherwise it just fade away and you won't really live anything.
But the thing is, do you think anybody's really concerned about that these days? Because Blueface is one of the perfect examples of one hit wonders. Burst Down Daddy and song, wild song.
Listen to me.
Made
Listen to
racks,
me, bro.
bounced. Does he need to ever work again? No,
No.
because radio play, bust down Tatiana. Anybody who probably says bust down and Tatiana in the same sentence, he's getting royalties for, you know this. And that's how things work these days.
Yeah.
So that's what
You
I'm
know
saying.
what?
There's almost no desire to actually probably achieve longevity,
Yeah. No.
which is sad.
Yeah.
Which is sad for the craft, I guess.
I think there's a high demand for music though. There is a high demand for music.
Oh yeah.
All the platforms that's out there for music. So I think some people kind of forget that you have to not take your time with it, but just it's yours. It's your expression. So I think they kind of forget that, and sometimes it's just quick to just throw it out without really listening back or saying, you know what, I don't really like that, or am I really doing me? That kind of stuff. So it's nice to see someone kind of do them, and just try and
100%.
produce something nice.
100%.
Yeah, I just think that it's true. Like, not everyone thinks about it, but because there's different purposes, right? A lot of people just join music because they think. I think there's a very big cloud over the music industry when you're not part of it already. It looks like this very glamorous money, parties and that. Whereas I've literally started working professionally in the music industry in Italy when I was 12, and I was signing contracts at 14. So it's like, this is not.
Is that actually allowed?
Well, yeah, because my parents were there. So,
Oh,
but they would always make me do things by myself, obviously next to me, but I would always sign on my name. But yeah, it's just because I just needed to understand how the world went, like that world went. And my parents were always very realist. There weren't people that, they weren't like, oh yes, you're the best, the best singer that we've ever heard. Like my dad was like, if you want this, you have to work. We pay for all the schools that you need. We'll get you where you want to be, but you have to do A, B, and C. So since a young age, I knew it wasn't a joke. And then obviously, the more you work in the industry, the more you realize. I moved across Europe, and I felt it even more because I knew an industry, and then I had to relearn a whole new one. But obviously here I'm living it as an adult, so it's even more different. There's new things you learn every day. But again, it all goes back to the purpose and why you're trying to do music. A lot of people chase music because they think that's where the money is, so they don't really care about the music part. Whereas for me, I just came to the fact that I came to terms with the fact thinking that I'm a singer. I'm a singer. So
that's exactly what I said to you before, Dan. I literally said exactly that.
Yeah, so I won't be probably, and I'm 28 already. So, my time to be like a pop star is gone. But do I really want that? Because pop star, they won't make me sing what I want to sing. So,
Another thing I said.
So it's just like, it's realizing, it's like, I think at this day and age, it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter where you sit. If you really have to, blow up, you will blow up. If there's space for everyone. So I feel like if the music is good and you're yourself, you're authentic, and you're fresh, like you give, this fresh air to people, I feel like people will come to you.
Yeah.
If you had the opportunity to say, talk to like a 6-year-old or 7-year-old Nicole, what would you say to that person?
I would just tell her that, first of all, she will never change because I'm exactly the same person in my head. I think people are like, in the years, they just soften up and they're just like, I'm still the same person. It doesn't matter, the things that I've done, where I've gone, changed countries as well. My boyfriend laughs at me because it's like, you're literally the same person that you were at 5, at 10, 15, 20. Like, my character stayed genuine. So I would just tell her, just keep doing you, because it will pay off.
Sick.
That's literally the best advice I could give myself, because I could say a lot of things, but this is, I think, the only one that matters.
Who was like your biggest influence in terms of music? Was it your parents, or was it like an artist that you heard when you were younger, or shows that you went to, or something like that?
I mean, funnily enough, so it all started, the reason why I wanted to sing, it was because I went to see Titanic with my mum, and I hear Celine at the end of the film, and I was like, what is this? I was 4.5, and I literally asked my mum, I was like, the day after, I was like, I want to go singing lessons, and she was like, okay. And she ignored me for like maybe 2-3 months, and then I kept asking. I was like, I want to go singing. I want to go singing. She was like, well, why? No one sings. Like literally, no one in my family sings or plays, nothing. But she remembers, like, since a young age, I was always like watching TV. I've got perfect pitch, and I remembered when I was like 2 or 3, just sitting in front of the TV, and I could re-sing or just even just hum the songs that I was listening to. And she was like, how does this girl remember after like the one time she heard it, even words, everything? But obviously she never really thought too much into it until she actually saw me doing the first lessons, and my teacher speaking to them, and they were like, yeah, this girl actually needs to keep doing more. So yeah, my first inspiration was Celine, but my musical path, musical path was like, I came across different genres and singers who kind of created how I sing today. So where I was like from 14 to 18, I was listening to a lot of blues and rock. So Janis Joplin for me was like literally in rotation most days. And then it changes because it went from that, and then at the same time I was doing a degree in jazz in Italy. So it was like rock one day, and then the day after I was going to Ella Fitzgerald, and then at home my mom was listening to Frank Sinatra, and then my dad was listening to Bruce Springsteen. So there's a lot going on. But obviously, like as I said, when I was in Italy, I started doing opera singing. So I was like, okay, this is great. This is what I want to do. And then I've literally found myself hiding to sing Alicia Keys when I was 12. And then my teachers saw it, and they spoke to my mom, and they were like, I'm not sure if this is really like, she would have to continue because they thought that's what I was destined to do. But I was always doing like privately, R&B has always been in my heart, and for no apparent reason really, because I didn't really
you don't want bread in your house.
You're from Rome, so I mean I've been to Rome.
Me too.
I didn't hear much R&B in Rome.
It's not a common genre at all. My parents, as I said, like my influences were very like open. We traveled a lot as well, especially to America almost every year, so I could listen to different things, but it wasn't a thing that I was listening every day. So it was very interesting when I started listening to those things by myself, when I had this MP3 and Walkmans and those kind of things, and I just like asked my dad to get on Emule and just download
Emule. Boy, you're reloading that, raw.
Yeah, and download all that stuff. And then around 16 I started getting part of the first gospel choir in Italy, and that's why I started just finding out about. I was like, oh, this feels so comfortable even for my voice. This is nowadays gospel is the only genre that I sing, and I can sing for hours, and my voice doesn't get tired. So it kind of felt like a very natural connection without even knowing it. It's weird.
Cool.
Now, the thing I wanted to also ask you was, you said you came in 2012, correct? So then what was the transition like from Italy to England? Because, I mean, that must be a bit of a shock to the system in terms of how things operated here compared to there.
Yeah, I think it was more learning about just differences, but I never felt it's weird because I think people are more shocked about this than I was. Like,
Shocked about you leaving Italy?
Well, no, people that got like my friends here as well. After they know my story, and they're like, "Oh my god, must have been so hard for you." And when I think about it, it wasn't really that hard for me. But that's because I think my parents got me used to different cultures since when I was born. So we were traveling a lot. And I've never really struggled. I've always spoken other languages as well. So when I got here, I already knew English, not how I speak it now, but I already knew it. So I wasn't like, oh, I don't know how to say anything. I knew. And I think it's because I've always been very determined. So I came with the aim of working full-time in music ASAP. So I found the first job, but after 3 months I already had a first audition. And there's some people that I know after years, they're like, oh, how did you get it? I was like, I just looked for it. Like literally, I was in Italy, I was watching the Olympic Games, and I was like, oh, that choir on TV, that's what I want to do. I've emailed them, I've literally harassed them for 6 months, and then they call me for an audition.
I guess that's what it has to be though, is what you were mentioning earlier, Mace, about being hungry for it. And
yeah.
Sometimes it is about shouting the loudest in some aspects, and hoping that your talent shines through. But what I said to Mace, Nicole, before you came on, was that I think you almost said it in your opening statement. Like, you set off with a certain trajectory sometimes, then you hit a certain point. Like you said, you're 28 years old. Do I want to be doing this pop music thing where I'm not going to be singing what I like? And you reach that plateau where you're like, you know what, actually, I want to do this. And it's not to say, to be honest, you could realistically still make it as a pop star for all you know. Like I use what's her name? Who's the one that sang I Wish I Didn't Miss You Anymore? Angie Stone.
Oh yeah.
Angie Stone. Like Angie Stone, for all intents and purposes, my camera's gone again like a bloody. What's it called? All intents and purposes, Angie Stone didn't really start her career until later on in her life. Because I Wish I Didn't Miss You Anymore, she was mid-30s, for example. So it's not like you can't do it. But my question to you is, what pitfalls did you experience in all of this? And has it actually changed your motivation to do what you initially set out to do?
Not really, because I think in general, everything has been shifted now. Like the things that before were in the 20s, people are doing in the 30s. So like I saw the other day, like literally, I think this morning, Snow Allegra winning Soul Train Award, and she's 33.
Yeah.
So, and she didn't start that early either. Or maybe if she started early, I don't actually know her story, but I know that, her first album, as, more popular became actually when she was 28, 29. So it's that there is, I believe there is a chance. And again, it's all up to what you want. I feel like the pop star status is reserved for like 3 or 4 people. And it comes with a lot of consequences and a lot of compromises that people don't talk about. People see the fame and they see the money and they see, oh yeah, I'm famous, the whole world knows me. But are you happy? Like that's my first question, because I'm sure that there's going to be compromises in most things when it comes to the music industry in general, like in most genre and in most statuses. But at least I'm thinking, if I try to do it my way, I will never regret it, because I'll always try and do what I know I can do best. And, I'm very faithful, because I think like if I was, I didn't really start the music working in the music industry thinking that I would be a solo artist for a long time. I actually had to sit down. I was like, I'm not sure, because I do enjoy performing. So wherever I perform, I love it. So in the beginning, I was like, I'm not sure. So it took a while. This is probably why it took, I got to 28, where I was like, okay, now I just need to release this, because now I'm more secure about myself. And I feel like people don't need to be pressured into doing things that I want to do unless they're sure.
100%. 100%. And then in that case, I think we were talking the other day actually, as well as me and you, Nicole. What's lockdown been like for you, especially as a music artist? Like you just said, like performing is your thing. You just want to perform half the time. What's it been like for you?
Well, so in a word, it's been peak, but I think it's peak. So I would say, luckily, I found myself, I wasn't completely, without help. I've always had help from the government. So at least financially, I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I can't live. But it was very difficult. The first lockdown was semi-easy because I went back to Italy. So I spent time with my parents, which I didn't do for like 8 years. So
yeah, I know this because at the end of every month when I try to book you for something, you're bouncing, innit?
Always there. Yeah, but then I'm thinking, obviously here there wasn't much for me, because obviously, London, you leave your house, you spend £50, you don't even know how it happened.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I wasn't really in a position of doing that. And also I just felt like for this few months, my parents actually helped me out with my bills and stuff, so that I wouldn't really waste the money for that. So I went back. So the first few months actually mentally were okay, because I think we all were a lot better than now, because we thought that was going to finish. So we're like, oh, after summer, all good, we're out, music is going to start again. And then when I saw that we weren't actually booked again for a lot of the gigs that we had, I was supposed to be on a 3-month tour, and then another tour, and then another tour, and all those got cancelled. And I was like, okay, so what's going to happen now? so then again, and then I saw the follow being extended, and I saw this and I saw that, and then I think for me the final stroke was when the government basically denied singers at weddings. That for me was it, because when they banned them, I was like, okay, I'm done, because that's our livelihood. Like a singer for a wedding, I pay my rent with one wedding. So,
Bruh,
yeah. So it's like
that's life.
that's how we really live, because sessions, the things that you see on TV, like, you know, doing backing vocals for this artist, doing backing, that's not what pays you. Like what pays you is functions and corporates. So not being able to sing at corporates and functions, for us, that was literally the last thing. I had a breakdown. It was like a week before my birthday. I was sitting on my sofa crying. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, because they ban this now, and it's, you know, when the ban comes, it doesn't last for a week. It lasts at least 6 months.
Yeah.
So it was like, when are we gonna be able to? So that, and then I slowly, you know, started feeling a bit less anxious, because I was like, you know what, there's not so much I can do. But the second lockdown, like now at the beginning of the second lockdown, my head I wasn't fine, because I was just like, I don't know. My fear is that I don't know what kind of industry we're gonna go back into. So, because obviously,
if there's even gonna be one.
Yeah, well, there will be one, because music will always, you know, music. But it's just like how artists are getting used to singing without, like, performing without us. So,
but the reason I phrased the question that way, is there going to be an industry, is because, for example, last week me and Dan were talking about how, for example, we're DJs. I fear the nightclub industry is going to be trashed. We're only going to have super expensive swanky bars that are going to exist. There's not going to be any nightclubs. Then with regards to artists and stuff like that, to a certain degree, will concerts even happen to the same varying scales that they did? Is Beyonce or Rihanna going to come to Wembley and sell out 90,000?
yeah,
They're
that's
probably
what I
going to
mean.
do half of that. So then why
Yeah.
would they bother coming here from America and make half the money that they possibly could if they toured the States, make more than that? Do you get what I'm saying?
So I think the proof of what we're talking about comes, obviously mine is a much smaller proportion, but I got booked for a gig in January, and normally I get paid for this gig around £300. And it's a normal 2 sets gig, which is, you know, the minimum that a normal, you know, session singer accepts is 250. So we're like, okay, 300 is good. It's a long set, and it's a tribute to a famous singer. So I can't say what it is, because I don't want, you know, to trash the organization. But it's something that we do on a regular. So it's not the first time that I'm doing. We just got called again, and they were like, well, your fee now is 130, because you have a quarter of the people, and they're all sitting down. So obviously there's more service. They have to pay more to accommodate these people. And we are doing the same exact job. It's not like we're doing anything different, but from 300, we get to 130. So even that, obviously, even speaking to my boyfriend, is like, yeah, that's good. You're starting again. And I was like, yeah, but how? Like,
exactly.
It's like we're compromising. So it's like, I don't want to get to a point.
I think weddings and stuff, people are itching.
Yeah.
Literally, we got invited to so many weddings last year. We actually went to 2 that had some really good bands there. And I think we've got a couple of invitations that should have happened this year, but just didn't happen. So they've been postponed.
Yeah, of course, because obviously weddings this year were a bit.
I think the wedding thing, I think hopefully that will come back pretty quickly. Hopefully.
Yeah, as long if they lift the ban, then it's cool. We can go back, because people are getting married. It's not something that, you know, people always get married. So we actually managed to sing at a couple going around the restrictions, because if you sing outside and if you sing in a certain way, you can still do it. So we sang before and after the ceremony, and, you know, planned in a way that it was still possible. But not many will really go out of their way, because obviously they think about themselves. They don't think about the singers. So like, oh, well, we can't have the singers. We'll just play a song. So, you know, it's some people
Bloody
really,
hell, Eunice.
Yeah.
Sorry, no. Sorry, I just saw somebody just flag something up at me. Sorry, I was listening.
Yeah, no, like, so, you know, it depends. Some people will really like, oh, I really want a little gospel trio. I really want a band. I really want it. So they will make sure they will do what they can. But other people are like, oh, I can't have a band. Okay, cool. I just have a DJ, you know?
Yeah.
So
Although I'm about to probably not destroy, but open up a can of worms maybe. So last year, a pal of mine got married in France.
mhm.
Now, they didn't necessarily want to fly out a DJ and this, that, the other. So he hollered at me and he said, "Yo, bro, do you mind doing a 4-hour mix, just recording it and sending it to me?" I was like, "Yeah, minor. Just pay me X amount for it." Popped
Yeah,
it all, literally recorded. We transferred them over in 4 bits. Then I told him just all you have to do just to make it seamless. Boom.
yeah.
4 hours of music, just like that.
Yeah, and obviously this is the what I was saying to you, like privately when we are talking about this, the fact that I'm not sure what kind of industry we're going to go back to is because, as you said, like this is the same example, but they can do exactly the same thing for singers. So if they need singers, they can just use the backing vocals that have been recorded in the studio and just put them on stage, because a lot of singers already do that.
Yeah.
So I've seen some artists like Dua Lipa the other day when she did 2054 on Friday. 4 of my friends actually were singing there, but it's a very now is literally, my other fear is that there's going to be a very small amount of gigs and people are going to start killing each other to be on them. And before there was space for everyone, so that's there's so many things. But then as on the other side, a lot of people left music to go full-time with something else, so there's more space for it's a long thing. We just need to see. I think we need to just play the game and see how it ends,
Yeah, it's true.
It's
True.
uncertain. That's what it is. It's super uncertain.
It's true, and it's sad.
I'm a drum and bass fan, and I can see that you've worked with High Contrast.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, High Contrast is my homie. We literally started working together in 2016. We auditioned, me and one the other lead singer. We auditioned for it, and we started touring with him since then. So yes, it's literally 2016. It's been 4 years now. Crazy. But yeah, we've been featuring on different tours with him. We've been going Glastonbury, just different festivals around Europe. This year there was a lot going on, but obviously it will cancel. The summer, literally every weekend we had a festival abroad, so it was going to be really sick. I was looking forward to it, but yeah, he's incredible. I think he's the nicest boss I've ever had in my life.
He is my go-to guy so I teach spin classes.
Okay.
Because day job, fitness instructor and that.
Yeah.
So I teach a lot of spin classes, and High Contrast is my go-to guy, man, for that energy.
Wow.
We're going in. High Contrast.
Have a show, let me
Crazy.
know. I'll get you in.
Yeah, man.
Them plugs there, yeah.
Yeah, I'm singing, so I've got a little bit of privilege, a little bit.
the benefits.
A little bit. At least people, I can get some people in. Not 2,000, but a couple.
Imagine asking people, "Hey, can you get my cousin? And then can you get their friend?"
Sometimes you'll be surprised. So that's why I'm saying not 2,000, because people think, oh, they come with a list. I'm like, no, sorry, I just give it one person.
No, 100%. What's it called? Continue with your solo career. I mean, where do you see it going now? Now you've just dropped your EP, obviously, and these times, what is your plans? Because how much stuff can you realistically do in terms of promotion and stuff like that, and actually doing live performances, etc.?
I'm a bit gutted and about the fact that we can't do a live show, because obviously everyone else had a release party and I didn't. I was really upset. But I think here and there things can still be done, and I think things are still moving. I think at the moment, as I was saying earlier, there's a lot of people that are releasing music, and I think the only way to actually go past this is stay consistent and really show that it's not like a 2020 thing. It's actually you're doing it because of So yeah, my plan is just to continue. I'm already, I've already spoken to my producer. So this month I'm back in the studio for EP.2.
That quick.
Yeah, I can't, because you need to build a momentum. I can't just, if I stop now, then you know how it is. It's like, oh yeah, I'll go back. I will go back. No, I need to go back next week.
Now.
So yeah, this month I already have like three ideas of new songs that I want to record in my phone, because like sometimes I'm cleaning and I'm like, oh, hold on, I've got a whole stack of
track in your head.
in my head. I was like, no, I need to put it down, and then I can continue. So I've sent him like these few ideas, and obviously I go back there, and things are actually transformed because obviously he listens to something else when I send him.
Really there.
But yeah, so at the moment I would like to build up, more and more following if possible, like people that are interested in my music, build up some sort of fan base, if that's what you want to call it.
But I mean, your fan base looks solid right now. How many you got? 20+K or something on your IG already?
Yeah, but Instagram is like, I first of all, I don't hold it reliable anymore as a platform to.
Why?
Because at the moment it's like, your engagement, the more followers you have, the less engagement you have.
Why?
So it's like,
that makes no sense.
It just works like that. So like when you see people that have millions of followers, they've got like 7,000 likes. So it's like you see how much the ratio is really small. So it's like sometimes it's even frustrating because like, what's the point of posting something if like 3 people will see it?
Instagram are shagging people like that, to be honest.
Yeah, they're doing it with everyone. So, but my following comes from different things because I also do. I mean, I don't like calling myself influencer, but I do beauty and fashion as well. So it comes from different things.
That's true. Because all the dresses that you see you wearing, that's very true. That's very, very true.
Yeah, it doesn't come just from music, but yeah, I want to build like a solid one so that people were like, oh, this is Nicole. So when they hear me, they recognize me. So work more on my sound, solidify that. And the other day I posted on my Instagram, I saw a video of a house like overlooking LA, and I was like, 2025, this is the Grammys, like we're getting ready, they're in that house. So like this is the vision, but I know it's possible. I just need to stay consistent.
Yeah, man. And then going back to something with your boyfriend, then how has things been with him and lockdown and you? Like, are you guys like arguing a lot like some couples I hear are going crazy like that, or are things all blessed in that between you guys?
We don't live together, so it's like
that's good. Well, it's not good
like,
actually. What I'm talking about.
Yeah, like I think at this time it's a bit better because obviously I think people are just going crazy during. I've got friends who live together and they're like, I don't want to see them again.
Swear.
Well, no, they're like,
that's horrible.
I think, but I
think it's caused a lot of breakups, man.
Yeah, also a lot of engagements and babies. Like everyone is pregnant. I don't understand. Everyone.
What else is there to do but chop, innit?
But I always say this. He was saying this the other day. It was like, oh, because his friend just had a baby 2 days ago, and then his cousin had a baby, and he was like, oh, everyone having babies. I was like, yeah, but this lockdown, like that's what people do.
Yeah, it's true.
Like,
it's true.
But yeah, no. To be fair, he's in the corporate world, so he's quite not oblivious, but he doesn't obviously see things the way I see them. So when I completely worry and I go into panic mode, he's like, but it's fine. You still got the money and you don't have to stress. And I was like, yeah, no, but he's been extremely supportive with, just me. Even there was a point during the summer, I was like, maybe I should find a job. And he was like, no, just keep doing what you need to do. Don't worry about the money. The money comes in some ways, but don't. And I was like, oh, like literally I felt away because at the same time, I don't want to feel like I don't want to. I want him to feel like I'm lazy. Like I want him to see that I'm also working hard to, come out of the situation. But he's like, I would never think that because I'm not that kind of person. I think that I still had some jobs, even after the first quarantine and the second one. Like I've always worked every month. Obviously, I'm working a lot less than before, but I've always worked. And I think some of these jobs, like I still talk to people are like, how did you get this? Because I just feel like some nights I don't sleep and I just want to find a way to just keep going. My brain is always like moving, is always trying to find new ways. So I think he knows that that's my nature. So I will never really be like, okay, cool, I'm done, I'm not gonna work, so now you pay for everything, you know what I mean? That's never been the case. So obviously he's been supportive here and there for things that I really needed and I couldn't pay for. But other than that, it's been all right. It hasn't really affected us because he still works every day. So
good. I mean, for me, my partner had a baby in June. In June, so I mean, I've personally just been working.
Got to see the baby's super cute.
Everywhere.
Super cute.
That was before lockdown, right?
Pardon, what did you say?
Well, you had the baby just after. What was it? Was it
Just
after?
literally middle of the first lockdown is when
Oh,
baby
yeah.
popped. So
Mad.
we were lucky. We were lucky. Actually, no, we weren't lucky because it was horrible. Like I had lots of stories about other friends who were having babies. Their partners couldn't even be in until like 4 hours
Did you manage
into
to be
labor.
in?
I was very lucky because my partner, she's a nurse. So she
Oh,
fortunately actually knew some of the people on the midwifery team at the hospital she gave birth at.
yeah.
So she just speeched them, and then on top of that, because I work in a hospital, I know how to like hold myself and present myself in a way that, listen, I am not here to step on anybody's feet.
Yeah.
In fact, I can actually really help you if you need to. And they actually did that. It's just like, can you get this for me in medical terms? I was like, cool, no problem. So it was stuff like that, which they allowed me then to stay throughout the whole
That's
thing. I was
good.
there for what, 17, 18 hours. And some people were literally there not even for 4. And then as soon as the baby's out, you're allowed to spend 1 hour with them, and then you have to bounce home. So in that sense, I was very lucky.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the timing obviously not the best, but we moved. That's my attitude. I mean, this year is just like we keep moving, and like my camera keeps moving, flipping mad.
Yeah,
We
definitely.
just move. We just move, and levels, as you see, going from different places to different places. I've got something I actually need to talk to you about once we finish this, because I can't announce it fully yet
Yeah.
to the public, but hopefully we can get you on. But you kind of have an inkling as to what it is, because I wanted to get you on a Levels Lounge. But anyway, yeah. But we need to talk properly.
We'll talk after.
But yeah, no. But that's how I'm trying to like progress things. Like you just keep
Yeah.
moving, just keep moving.
I think that's what we need to do. I feel like
Yeah.
we just don't need, like, as it doesn't matter how fast we go, we just don't need to stop. That's the thing.
Yeah, just keep moving and grooving.
Yeah,
Get me?
absolutely, man.
I've got an interesting question actually to ask.
Yeah.
So, one kind of funky fact about all of us, we're actually all in mixed relationships. And I had a talk with the girlfriend today because I watch football, and Edson Cavani from Manchester United,
Sticky.
he said something which, listen, I go to Spain all the time. Yeah. They ain't saying it at me,
Yeah.
but he said Negrito. Negrito is just, no, you can make that face. That's a casual term. That's literally just
In
a
Spain- in
casual
Spain.
term. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a casual term all across South America. Casual term. I saw nothing wrong with it. And now people are blowing up all about this. Now, that's one
What context
issue.
did you say it in though? Like, what?
I don't know. I don't care. Either way, I'm not going to flipping look at that as an insulting way, because if you know somebody's culture, that's this is probably, I'm going to contradict myself. If you know somebody's culture, then you know they're not saying it actually in an insulting way.
Yeah.
However,
Well, negro
on
in
the
Spanish, it means black. So
yeah, exactly.
But then it's
So
like little black. Would you call someone?
no,
little-
precisely. It's he used it in an they use it in an endearing
No,
way.
I know what you
It's
mean,
not
yeah.
offensive.
Yeah.
So anyway, long story, that was just a side piece to what I was about to ask. My thing is, has there been kind of any like cultural boundaries when it comes to you and your boyfriend, and then the outside world looking in at you two? Do you feel like eyes on you, or do you feel like people are judging or pressures? Do you get the cuts from the sisters who are looking at you like, who's this girl with this brother? All of this stuff, because I get it from everywhere, and I was wondering what you guys are. And Nicole, I'll start with you, then we'll go to you, Mason.
Yeah. So, all right. So we, as a couple, have never had a single problem on this matter, because I'm Italian and my culture is very particular and our values are very strong. When it comes to his culture, he's Ghanaian, and
Yeah.
he's very, like, we found each other very like on board with most things. Like we never sat down and we're like, okay, we don't understand each other on this. Like it was always easy for both of us, because for us, he's always seen that my respect and my, not just respect for his culture, but just wanting to know more about not being black, because obviously I'm not black, but you know what I mean? Like wanting to appreciate, find ways to appreciate rather than just being ignorant about things. So I would ask him questions, if even in the beginning, actually I would say in the first year, not really, because we didn't really found any difficulties. But then the more I look outside, sometimes I was asking him questions but do you ever feel, do your friends ever play with you for the fact that you are with a white girl? And obviously it's funny because but he's like, you're not white, but I think I'm white. But most of my black friends are like, you're not white because you're Italian. When they say white, we say British. It's like, yeah, cool, but I think I'm Caucasian.
Those technicalities,
the technicalities that come into it. Yeah.
So he's like, but you're not white, so why do I have to worry? I was like, no, I'm not saying you have to worry. I just want to ask sometimes because, for example, he was saying his mom in the beginning before I met her, he was like, well, I'm sure that she's gonna want me to be with a black girl, but the only thing that she needed to hear is I was going to church. Once she heard that, she was all right. Yeah. And
he knew that get out of jail free card ASAP.
Yeah,
he knew that card. Well done.
The church card was easy because I was like, oh, now she loves me. She doesn't even know me, but
she doesn't care. As long as you sing the Lord's name, she's good.
Exactly. And it was for different things, but I definitely see how women look at me when I'm with him. I don't really see the opposite when it comes to white man looking at him like, what is she doing? Like, no, that's never been the case. And to be fair, most of my partners but one have been black, so I'm always been used to being a mixed relationship. But obviously this has been the longest, so obviously this is a serious one. So it's kind of like we had to really assess everything and understand where the diversities are. But obviously I feel like it's the hardest thing long term. It's not easy, I think, to be in a mixed in a interracial relationship long term, because there's a lot that comes with it, and especially if you're thinking of children. Every time I think about it, I feel like, oh my gosh, I need to learn so much before they come to the world. Because being a mother of, I know, children that will be seen as black, I have a lot to do. Even though I daily, have relationships with most of my people here in London are black, so luckily I get to experience a lot with them, to learn more about their culture, about ways of saying people, how they talk, how they eat, how you eat, actually, you are as well. So there's different things that I learn daily. So I feel very blessed and grateful that I get to do that, and I get educated, just by looking. I don't want any of my friends to feel like, oh, I need to explain that now. You know what I mean? So, but sometimes I have to ask because I just don't know. So my friends have.
Give us an example. Sorry to jump in.
Yeah, we say sorry.
Give us an example of times where you feel you just had to ask.
Right. So the first thing that comes to my mind is hair. So I've never really braided my hair because I've got curly hair, but it's never been like, my thing. But one day one of my closest friends, we basically work in the same vocal group, and our director sent me a picture and said, I want you to do this braids. And it was a picture of Nicki Minaj with long braids up to the floor. And I was like,
how do you want me to do that?
I showed her this picture and I was like, this is what he wants me to do. And she was like, I'll kill you if you do that. I was like, yeah, but I would never do that, you know me. And I was like, no, but it costs too much. She's like, it's not the money. It's just like this hairstyle in some countries in Africa is used to crown queens. You can't wear that but she wasn't telling me off. She was just explaining me, obviously. But these were things that I wasn't completely, I didn't know. I didn't know.
You weren't educated on it. It's not your fault at all.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I think the thing that I'm learning the most, and I'm actually trying to spread more with my white friends and friends that aren't black, is to understand that we're not excused anyway. So it's like, I think I've always been very happy and lucky because I found people that are always very understanding and always because they know my heart and they know my intentions. But I always need to be careful to get in debates, because some debates work with people that don't know me, because they don't know my heart and they don't know where I stand. So if I say, oh, actually, you're saying this. So one day, for example, I got into it wasn't an argument, but you know how Twitter gets, right? When you answer to
Oh
someone,
God.
then
No.
Oh, Twitter beefs. Oh
right.
no.
So
Sorry.
I saw this girl, and she said she was basically saying that Italians are racist. So let's say that Italians in Italy, Italy is a racist country for the majority, unfortunately.
I got a story about Rome in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so let me tell you, right? Yeah, it's a racist country, but she was basically saying that we deserve the country deserves at the time deserved the high amount of people getting sick and dying because of how
That's wicked.
Italians treated
That's wicked, man.
black people in certain times of historical times. And all I was saying on that tweet, literally my answer was, I get you and you're right. I'm not saying that didn't happen, but I'm saying that in general, being a Christian, because she was even saying she was a Christian, I was like, being a Christian, we shouldn't wish evil on anyone. So I don't think this is nice to say to anyone, but obviously you know how it is. And I know that you look at my picture, you see I'm white, oh, here's another one. It was it, So sometimes I just feel like I'm not able, I don't want to, it's not a complaint, but sometimes like, it's kind of like you get judged before you even open your mouth, just because I get why, it makes sense. But then at the same time, it's kind of like, but I just wish I could have a confrontation sometimes. But then at the same time, it's like, maybe you just don't want to hear me because you're tired of listening to us. So, it's 50-50.
Trust me, it's a big one. And this gentleman who's about to speak holds some nice views. But go on, mate. I know you're itching to say some stuff.
Yeah, I want to hear.
You know what? Over the years,
here we go.
Over the years,
hey, get some tea, guys.
Can I get some biscuit?
Over the years, I tell you what. So, quick story. I've not mostly, but I'll say in terms of partners, girlfriends, boy, there's been maybe 2 white people, and everyone else was kind of sort of like ethnic. Yeah. One of my very first girlfriends was actually Turkish, and the maddest thing happened to us one time when we went into this this kebab shop back in the day. So she didn't look Turkish. She looked like kind of light skinned, but she was actually Turkish. I think her granddad was kind of just a darker Turk. Sorry. But the guy that was cutting my kebab, back when I used to eat that garbage, he said in Turkish, "Why don't these blacks stick to their own?"
Later.
Facts, big facts. But she spoke fluent Turkish.
Yeah,
and literally just went ape. And I'm sitting, she's giving him the lingo, and I'm just like, and I'm like,
what's going on? Yeah.
What's going on? And she's like, no, we're leaving. Ducked out. And she told me what they said. Well, obviously, she wasn't going to tell me in the shop because she was smart. She was smart. Back then, I didn't have that emotional intelligence. I would have just kicked off.
Yeah.
So
you would have been in prison.
It would have been a madness. But you do get some kind of. You used to get more. Nowadays, interracial relationships are more of a common thing. So there's less. My current partner's white, so like we don't have any qualms. We don't have any problems with that kind of stuff. We kind of keep ourselves in this little bubble. Apart from like when my son, we experienced some racism with my son, and she wasn't there. I was there with him, and he's never seen me get that angry before. If he wasn't there, I probably would have lost my temper.
Yeah.
But like it was the most random thing. Some guy walked up to us and said a very, very uncomfortable word, and I had to do a double take. I was like, "Are you right, bro?" I was like, no, this guy, obviously, what happens with some old people, because he was an older guy as well, a lot of the terms that used to fly, they obviously don't fly anymore. But where people don't bother to get themselves educated, they're just like,
They just say them, yeah.
And they just kind of crack on. And yeah, my story about Rome, it was a bit sticky, man. It was a bit sticky at first. It eventually got frustrating because it was just too obvious and it was just too blatant. But then I went back to Italy and I went to Como, and that was so calm. It's so nice.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because the north is actually like it's really bad. We have a political party in Italy that's called Lega Nord, and they basically want to, like, I'm not joking, set on fire anyone. Like they wanted to set on fire all the gypsy camps that we have around Italy, and they actually tried to do with one. They want to get independency for the Milan region, so that basically they were like, oh,
The
we're not
sovereign
Italy,
state.
because everyone who's below Milan,
Catalans and that.
yeah, everyone who's below Milan is actually, well, they basically call us Africans because we're so close. So they say we can't be in contact with you. So I am for them.
Yo, that's wild. Nicole, that's
serious?
wild.
No, I'm very serious. And actually, one of the members of, well, not of this political party, but of the right, is Mussolini's niece, and she's still there. So
wow,
what's her views like? So we know what Mussolini's views are, and anyone that hasn't studied World War II, please go and check out Mussolini.
However, listen, there's some foul-ish out there,
what's
bro.
the niece's stance on everything? Is she like a nationalist like Mussolini was, or no?
What, for her, you mean?
Yeah.
She basically, well, she obviously, especially when she's on TV, she has to control it, because obviously some things are illegal now, luckily. But I just think that for me, it's just mad that a political party is actually even able to exist, and she's even able to be in politics. I think that's absolutely mad. And Italy, the reason why you may have had, you know, whatever episodes you guys have lived, and it's actually really sad because most people I hear actually had one, and it really breaks my heart, because obviously it's where I'm from, and I would wish that, you know, things like this don't happen, but I witnessed things like that. I had my first boyfriend when I was like 17. He was mixed race as well, born in Rome, and he was fully like, he was speaking Roman dialect stronger than me on the day we had this episode. And people, you know, obviously people was looking at us all the time. He's from half Congo, half Italian, and he's light skin as well, but obviously had braids, and people were looking every time we were going somewhere, people were looking. And one day we went to he was a singer as well, and I went with him for an
What?
Am I here?
Yeah.
I went for an interview with him, and for an audition for a famous talent show in Italy. And I basically asked him, so, like, what do you do? Tell us about you. And he was like, oh, I'm Christian. I was born here. This day, da, da. And they were like, okay, so tell us how hard was for you to get to Italy? And he was like, I was born here, actually, just, you know, here. And they were like, no, yeah, we get it, but like, so how hard? So what? Tell us your mom's story. Like, what happened? Like, did she find like? Well, she was like, it was like, actually, well, mama, and it didn't even clock, because it was very genuine. So it wasn't really understanding. And I was like, I know where these people are going. They were like, no, we want to know your mom's story. It must have been so hard for her. I was like, yeah, actually, I mean, yeah, it took a while, but then, you know, her dad was quite wealthy, so he just sent her to study here in Italy. So it was actually easy. And they were like, oh, okay, so, well, you know, we'll let you know, because he had no story. And I was like, this is so stupid. And when we left, he was like, oh, but, you know, I told you. It was like, nah, this is not. And then with my current partner, we've had, I mean, my grandma went to, so I don't really, my grandma has never met him, because she's known to be racist in the family, but she's one of those people who says, I'm not racist, that it's all in your head. And she went to my little cousin, who was 6 at the time, and she was like, how dark is Kofi? And my little cousin was like, I don't know, he's black. Like, she was 6. How do you ask a 6-year-old Italian to ask how dark is he? Like, she was like, oh, well, I don't know, he's black. I was like, no, but I want to know, like, a dark like this. She started sending pictures like this. I was like, what does it matter exactly to you? If you have an issue with any black person, what does it matter for you if it's like light skin or dark skin? And then the last one was when we went to I took him to Rome, and my neighborhood is a very residential neighborhood, which means there's a lot of older people. But I didn't like in the center. We actually went that year. We went to the Amalfi Coast. It was easy. We never had a single problem. No one looking at us in a weird way. Went to Rome. Center was all good. I took him to my area, and we were having breakfast outside. And an older man, basically, he was in front of me, but I had a fence behind me. It was a glass fence, and I heard like someone banging on this glass, like boom, boom, boom. I turned around, I was like, what's going on? And this guy shouting, and luckily he said it in a Roman accent. So my boyfriend is learning Italian, so he understands. But I'm still hoping to this day that he hasn't understood. But obviously, because I kept my cool, but I was cussing him out. He basically was like, you should, what did he say? You have to let him pay. You have to let him pay. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I didn't clock for a moment. The problem is that in Italy, dark-skinned black people are seen as the refugees that come from, so they think that they've probably seen him and they thought, oh, this guy is someone like, she's just offering breakfast because you know what I mean. And I was like,
you just picked up a straggler and tried to
come have some breakfast. You want some eggs? Some cappuccino?
Obviously one doesn't want to brag, but literally I was so upset. I was like, so do you know that this guy, what he earns in a year, can buy your whole house? Like, I was just like, just shut up, leave. I was so upset because you don't want to be rude, but then it just comes to a point, I don't have patience for this thing. So even my friends, they're always like, babe, you're gonna have children, you can't assault everyone. But I was like, yes, but because people need to shut up. You can't go to people and think that's normal. And obviously, I know what someday I'll probably be in trouble because it will be really hard for me to stop and not have a reaction. But it's
difficult when it happens.
Yeah, I just don't have the patience. I don't think we should have it. You know what I mean? It's just like,
but I feel like those people are getting phased out. They're only a certain age.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you think so?
Like my mum at first, coming from the Caribbean.
Yeah.
She was just not on it with white folks at all. At all. She was just, that's just because my mum was so close to slavery. Like where I come from in the Caribbean.
Where'd you come from again?
I'm from Montserrat, very small island. The remnants of slavery before it got destroyed was still there. So the mills, the way the fields, the way it's all set up, I could see that as a child. It's like slavery just got up and left, and we still saw it. The Brits obviously converted some of these mills into water tanks and stuff like that. I don't want to go too much into the history of my country, but I knew from early doors what it was about, and just started. I think I only really kind of experienced that level of sort of like craziness when we moved to the UK, because everyone there is just you wake up, you see someone that looks like you, there's no problems. And the people that came to visit, so like the tourists, they were all nice and friendly. We had no problems. Landed in the UK, and boy, it was mad. It's like I couldn't believe some of the things I was hearing. It was just crazy. I was just like, wow, like what? And being young as well, you don't understand why someone's being like that towards you. It's like,
of course.
Like I didn't get it at the time. I was just like, coming from a proud family, I was just like, who are these people, man? They're just some idiots.
Yeah.
But then it really affected some of the other guys that were like, I think there's a difference between someone that's born here and has grown up in a different culture altogether.
Yeah.
Some of that culture kind of stays with you, and I think that's what kind of kept me in the right frame of mind, because I was just like, not everybody is like this. It's only a few individuals in every country, of course, but not everyone's like that, and I'm not going to allow that kind of thing to just twist your mind, because it could easily twist your mind. That kind of stuff happens to you, you can go on a rampage and just start thinking crazy shit. But it's like, okay, people are idiots, they're uneducated, but we're getting rid of them slowly. As people get older, we're starting to move towards a more, like it's normal in society to almost to be black. It's mad.
But my question is, do you think it's really been phased out? Because I don't know if any of you have seen the recent clip of this young Sikh boy in Birmingham who was getting beat up. He was secondary school, beat up by a couple of kids from the same secondary school. Now these guys went and ripped off this young boy's turban. I was just beating them up. Yeah, that's a form of hate crime
Yeah,
that is taught, right?
absolutely.
So to some degree, I agree that as the generations are phasing out, or the older generations phasing out, maybe we're ushering a new wave of kind of general acceptance. But are we? Because there's enough of these kids who are still being taught that kind of wicked behavior as kind of acceptable. All that's going to happen is even if this child just goes to prison for however long, to a juvenile detention center for however how long for this hate crime, he's going to come back out and he's still going to have the same mentality. He's going to go on and have kids. He's going to spread the same word to his kids.
Yeah.
That's a new generation of this kind of mentality. So are we really getting rid of it?
England are far ahead. Like, I think if you travel,
I
to some of
don't
these other
think
countries,
so.
you can see we are, like, trust me, like London especially is a very multicultural city.
Yeah, but it's hidden so well.
I think what I've always felt about this is that I think right now, especially this year, luckily, I mean, it's been terrible, but luckily that I think some people, not everyone, but some more people than normal have
Woken up.
Yeah. So I feel like sometimes because racism is such it's intrinsic. So when we say it's in the system, and obviously the UK, I mean, people say it's better than America because America is just a different world, but it's still very present here. And I think people who say it's not here, I just think they're mad. But
oh yeah, it's definitely here, man.
Yeah, like, but even me, and I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm part of the Caucasian gang, but even there, like, it's not. I can see it because as soon as I speak my language, British people are like, turn around. When I remember when I got on the bus, the first time, I think it was like a month I was here, and it was an old lady that kept staring me and my mom. That were just talking, and at some point she was like, "Can you shut up, please?" And I was like, "What?" Because I don't understand what you're saying. So I was bothering her because what I was saying, she wanted to know. I was like, what? And I turned around. I was like, what do you think I'm planning? A terrorist attack? Like, I don't understand exactly.
But that's the maddest thing. You can be white, speaking Romanian, Spanish, whatever thing. Yeah. And a lot of the English people will still be like, what you doing in my country kind of thing.
I checked. Like, I used to work in a Turkish restaurant for like 2-3 years. And the things that I've seen in that place, the thing is, obviously, I was working mostly with Muslim colleagues, and obviously that was really good for me as well because I've learned so much about that culture, which was great. But some of the people who were working there were Russian and Eastern European, and I've learned some very obscure things in that place, like things like, for example, a girl got hired. 2 days later, I was like supervising the room. And she came and I saw a table with a black lady by herself. And she called me after like probably 20 minutes that she was sitting down, and she called me. She was like, excuse me, I'm trying to get like to order. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I called my colleague to get your order. So I told this new girl who just arrived, who was Russian. And I was like, you've got a table. This lady's been here for a while. Can you please go? She's like, I'm not serving. No, I actually didn't realize. I didn't
Bloody hell.
She's like, I'm not going to that table. By the way she said it was kind of like it was obvious. And I was like, what do you mean you're not going to that table? She's like, well, maybe you understand. She came to me like we were friends. She was like, Mel, maybe you can understand me. Like, she's black, so I'm not really good. I was like, if you don't run, girl, if you don't run and go and serve that table, tomorrow you don't come back. Oh, but you're not a manager. So trust me, I'll get you fired. You either go or you disappear.
Was this Green Lanes by any chance, this restaurant?
No, it's in central London. It's a very famous Turkish restaurant as well.
Listen.
What is it, the one near Bond Street?
Yeah.
That's a live restaurant though.
Yeah. I've honestly worked there, and as I said, I've learned so much because I was doing initially full-time, then part-time when I started working on more music. And it was so good because I could learn so much, especially from the customers as well, because I used to have so many chats with like my favorite Arab customers, and we just had like all the like I learned so much of things again that we in this part of the world just misunderstand and just take it and like, oh yeah, women are obligated to wear hijab, women are doing this, women can't do that, and then it's like, no, we actually want to. So you just get just like, really, do you, is that your choice? Like, you get shocked and you just learn. But I was open. Like, one of my colleagues at the end when I left, he gifted me a Quran. He was like, I want you to have this because you respect it so much. I just want you to have it. And for me, that was so good.
That's a kind gesture.
Yeah, I loved it because I was like, oh my gosh, you actually look. Because like, sometimes I was going, and even then, asking. I just wanted to learn more about the prayer, about why they do what they do. And I was connecting to one lady. There was a group of English older ladies. I think were like around in their 60s, and Turkish people sometimes, like when I mean, you probably know, but the way they talk, the way they pronounce some words, especially if they're fresh, they fresh. I mean, it's the same for Italians, really. They can get misunderstood. And what I've noticed, especially when I moved here, is that British people, when you're trying to remember a word and you can't remember, you're like, what's that? And they're like, they stare at you, and I'm like, can you help me?
Yeah, a little help here, please. Come on.
They'd literally stare at you. And obviously, imagine if, I think they kind of find pleasure in you not knowing, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna wait now until you find it. And I definitely tell. So it used to make me frustrated, and I was just witnessing one of my colleagues who's been there, like, this girl's been working in that place for 10 years, not a day. And she was just, I think the way she was saying, I don't remember, she was saying something, but obviously I got used to her accent, so I knew what she was saying. But it was easy. It was like something like mean tea. But the way she was saying it, and the lady was like, I'm sorry, I don't understand you. I'm so sorry, I don't understand you. So I was like,
they do take pleasure in it. They do take pleasure in it. And it's mad because we'll go to another country. I say English people will go to another country and expect everybody to speak English.
Oh, yeah. No, but she left, and I went there, and I was like, do you need help? And she was like, oh yeah, sorry, people like us. What did she say? Oh, those people will not understand what I'm saying. I was like, well, I'm part of those people. I'm not from here. So, well, you look it though. I was like, oh yeah, you think I'm from here because I look like you.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was just like, wow, this is just so shocking. By the way, she just said it like she was smiling. She was like, oh, well, you may understand me because those people. I was like, well, I look like you, so it's fine. She's like, oh, yeah, but it's fine. You don't look it, so it's all good.
And Dan, on that note just there, this is what I'm talking about. A lot of people say kind of things what you're saying, that in the UK it's much better. And I go, but is it really? Because in that moment, you had somebody who felt they could confide in Nicole because they could relate. And next thing you know, it's like, oh no. Just because my skin tone's like this,
I mean,
does not mean I agree with your views. Or in fact, actually, but I'm not even English. How about that?
Yeah.
No,
I'll push out in Italian.
Talking about, right?
Yeah, precisely. That's what I'm trying to say. So how is it then any better? Because in a lot of people's eyes, they're stupid with their racism because it's like, oh, anybody who looks like me, you should know. Actually, you're in London where there's hundreds of different ethnicities in here. So there's many who look like you who actually aren't you. And if you're kind of confined in somebody like that, then you better be 100% sure their name is Karen from down the road.
But then I think the UK is also not London. I just think that London.
No, it's not.
This is the thing, and I think I'm looking at it from a London point of view. If I go back, and I'm talking about now, like up to date, 2020, it isn't as bad as what it was. You can ask all of these guys that we used to ball with, Kofi, bruv, we used to go to some places in the middle of nowhere. And then when I stopped balling and I started playing football, it got even worse.
Yeah.
Because I remember we played this cup final one time in some random village in the Midlands. Everyone from the village came out, and I was playing up top at the time, and this defender and his family were just giving me the most problems. He was calling me everything under the sun. Everything. Yeah. I was just getting slapped up by words. Pat, pat, pat. Okay, I'm like, okay, cool. And then the goalkeeper did a goal kick. So, obviously the goal kick goes over your head.
Yeah.
I'm the last man. So he's trying to stand with me. Bro, as soon as the ball went over and I knew the refs weren't looking, the way I clapped this guy, bro.
But sometimes you have to just release that vengeance, innit?
Oh, and then the worst, it got sticky. But luckily, one of the guys that played for my team was a police officer. So he kind of just flashed his badge at the end of the game, but it was gonna be on top. But all because of racism.
No, it's one of the most. I still don't get it. It's so sad when 2020, yet it is still single-handedly that, and to some degree religion, the most divisive thing in this world. I don't get it. It's almost like, look, just we're people, innit? Just let people be people at the end
I
of
just
the
think
day.
it's very dumb. Like, I think when the whole George Floyd and the protests were happening, I was thinking I just have this, like, sometimes I get out of myself, or I get out of this world, and I'm thinking, imagine if an alien comes here and with all the problems that as humanity we should have, these idiots are fighting against, well, not against one, like, what's a part of them feels superior to others.
Yeah.
What? It doesn't make sense. Like, it literally does not make sense.
The alien will touch down and say, "Allow these idiots, I'm gone."
Like, let me live, because this is just stupid. Like, imagine in 2020 we had over almost 3,000 years of like being civil. And we're still like, oh, I'm this and I'm that. And funnily enough, the more you study history, the more you understand that this is something that it's a very modern thing. Because if you go back to the Romans, if you go back to the Egyptians, if you go back like to all those civilizations, they were much more civilized than us when it comes to these things. There was a lot more accepted, because it wasn't a thing. I thought when the concept is created, like even white people, even me, I can't say I get, like, I feel racism. I can see I get discriminated, but it's not racism because we invented racism. White people invented racism, so we can't say, oh, there's the things like reverse racism, things like, oh,
you know what? I've got a saying. Sorry to cut you, but my saying, and people are gonna probably, slap me up in the comments for this, but white men and black women can sometimes be the most racist people on this flipping planet.
But I think you know
Where's
what?
my tea?
Like, literally, I've heard the worst from white. Because when I say that, it's because that's coming from people that I've been with. And I remember, like, I was the last white person that I was with. She got abused for dating me because I was black. Yeah, like from some white guys that were like, "Oh, I didn't think you were like that." What do you mean?
Like that?
What do you mean? What does that mean? That's just so mad. So, and then I've heard some things from, like, us growing up as guys. We've heard some stuff from the black girls they've just whispered. Obviously, like, I was always sort of like a switched on person in a way, because I'm just like, I don't see what the problem is. It's like, you like someone. It is what it is. So you just keep it moving. But they were proper, like, I think they felt like, and there's this saying sometimes that comes about, and I'm just like, look, man, it's not as deep as people try and make it. This whole race thing, it's not that deep. If you actually try to spend some time with the people that you're hating, you would understand that they're just human people.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, most of the racism that happens comes from afar.
Yeah.
It comes from afar. Like, I've had Eastern European people say to me, "Oh, black men just rape white women."
Yeah,
that is something I've heard. I have heard this.
That's one of the wildest comments I've ever heard.
They're putting rape on every black man.
Listen, just say Christopher Columbus. Just say Christopher Columbus. They'll done their whole dance. Christopher Columbus. That's it. That's if anybody ever said that to me, I'd say, fully research Christopher Columbus, my G, then talk to me.
It's not even like, if it was just that, and you stop at Christopher Columbus, and you'd be like, okay, it's one person. I felt, I don't even know, disgusted is not enough, but I was not researching, but I stumbled into some documents from the slavery, and the things that I didn't know, there was a full act that was declared in order to burn and delete as many traces as possible of what white people did during slavery. And I didn't know a lot of those practices that happened, like the words, some of the swear words that we use today, where they come from. And to the point that I actually went to my partner, I was like, we can't use this word anymore, even as a joke, because it's actually, and he didn't know. Like, I went to tell him, I was like, I found out this, and this. But there's just things that, and after that, I think we all see America we used to. So when when you're young, you're like, oh, that's so cool.
The
But
glitz
then
and the glam.
I think the more you grow up and the more you learn. I'm really passionate about history. So literally everything from the Romans until Renaissance, and then obviously there's this time of 700s, 600s, 700s that really interests me, because that's where society really changes. And if you really go into it and really study the climate and the things that were happening, you don't see any, like, everything that we know today is a lie. And
most of the big things,
yeah,
anyway.
yeah, like everything that we know. But society wise, I think that the dynamics, the way, the reason, and like even watching things, like now that I've learned these things, even watching a Disney movie is not normal anymore. Watching normal things, you're like, but there's something missing here. Why is it all white people? It's just something that becomes normal at some point.
It's the whitewash.
Like, yeah, because it's just like, oh, but again, this is why. Or like I watched, oh my gosh, my favorite cartoon used to be Pocahontas when I was a child.
What changed with Pocahontas then?
Randomly, the other day I was cleaning.
And then you clocked on what Pocahontas was, right?
No, I knew the story. I've learned the story, but what disgusted me the most is I put the cartoon on Disney Plus while I was cleaning my room, like, right? And I honestly, I kid you not, I was like cleaning and I stopped watching TV. I was like, what did you just say? Like the things that they say.
You caught the subliminals.
Because it was the 90s, no one would have been sued for saying any, things they said. Well, obviously they couldn't do it now. So when I say it's going to be a very slow process, but it will eventually happen. It will take probably we won't be on this earth. Yeah, when if
you know what, I think 2020 has seen us make some steps forward. And I think there's a level of education as well. I'm not saying that just because people are educated that they've switched on to these kind of things, because there's some smart people that are doing some crazy things. But as like the universities, schools, we're lucky enough to live in London where you can't go far to find like an ethnic community. So like South London, you got Brixton, it's predominantly Jamaican and Caribbean people. I feel at home in South London. If you go to East London, you're going to find a lot of the Asian community. Yeah. And I've even lived in Stamford Hill, man. The first time I saw Jewish people, I was like, who are these people? I don't know what is going on here. And I had to do my research. But it was, for me, I didn't see it as, oh my God, like instantly. What I don't get is like, it's almost like some of these people, it's like an instant hate. I look at other races and other people and it's like an intrigue. I want to know more about them.
Same.
That's what I'm trying to say. So in my head, I'm like, what's the trigger for these people? What's causing it?
It's all taught.
It's definitely taught, as Kofi was saying, because it's not something that children don't know that. Children don't know diversity. They don't see it. So when I think people naively, when they grow up, they're like, I don't see color. They mean, I know what they mean. It's wrong to say, but they mean, for me, it doesn't matter because I love you anyway. And I know that your response as a Black person is, no, I wanted to see color. And I know why is that is important. But at the same time, it's because as children, I remember myself, there was actually something, I was like 3 or 4. We went for one of the first times we went to the States with my parents. And there was a pattern that I kept seeing every time we changed the hotel. And one day I went to my mom and I was like, Mom, and I was a very silent and open child. So I was always like, looking. And then I could come up with this like, boom. And my mom was like, oh my gosh, how do I answer to this now? And I just went and I was like, Mom, we've been at 3 hotels, right? And she was like, yeah. So at the last 2 ladies at the reception were blonde and the ladies that were cleaning the rooms are all black. And she was like, oh yeah. So that's what she started slowly explaining to me. And I was like, oh, that's stupid. I remember I was like, that doesn't make sense. And then I remember going to my school and I had 2 Brazilian twins in my class and no one wanted to sit next to them because my classmates were like, oh, they smell. But it wasn't the smell. It was only the
That's
food.
just rudeness.
No, but it was the food. But in Italian, obviously, like when ethnic households, cook, there's cooking, like obviously it stays in your clothes.
Yeah, it's a bit heavier.
You hear it. You hear it. You'll smell it. So when when they used to come to class, obviously they used to it. But to me,
I was gonna say something just there, but I'm gonna hold my mouth and not say
Hold it, please.
what were you gonna say?
It was more of like a flipping. Oh God, it's just crazy. It's just ignorance. Sorry to cut you.
Yeah. Oh, very. No, but it's extremely ignorant. And the thing is, I remember like there was a long back and forth about them because I wanted to spend time with them, and I went home to my mum and say like, why are they treated like this? Why people say they smell? My mum went to school and she even spoke to like teachers, and she was like, this kids need to be integrated and somehow. My mum fights my battles for the thing sometimes. Like she argued with half of my family because of my partner. Like she's always been very open and very, very understanding towards making me understand, all these things and making me be free to choose and be able to just discern what, like, sometimes like I'm speaking, and my aunt is not married yet, but her partner has a Mussolini bust in his house. And the moment I walked in the house, I was like, you want me to? So I looked at my mum, I was like, you want me to bring my partner here? Like, I don't. And he went to my little cousin, and I remember like my little cousin couldn't wait to meet my partner because she's little, so she saw the pictures like, oh, I want to meet Kofi. We go to Italy, and she was like sitting on my lap. They want us to play. I don't know what's this called here. I don't remember. I don't know the game.
I don't know what the Americans call patty cake or whatever they call it. patty cake, whatever they call it. Anyway, yeah, them ones.
She was sitting on my lap, and he was in front of me. And he was playing with her, but she was doing this, but she wasn't touching him. And
okay.
So I was like, Swami, what's wrong? She was like, he's black. I was like, well, no, thanks for telling me. Obviously, I was like, thanks for telling me. I was like, but are you scared? She's like, no, but she's like, I don't know, because and also she doesn't live in Rome. She lives in an area just outside Rome, and then there's not many.
A bit more remote.
Yeah, it was, and they don't really.
The thing is, you know what's crazy? Rome's a holy city, like
supposedly.
Rome is the holy city.
Supposedly. Thank you.
That's the thing, and this is why I got so frustrated because I grew up in church. My mum took me there religiously every week.
Romans don't.
And I'm like, dude, the Vatican is there. This is the spot.
But that's a whole different. I grew up. My parents are not Christians. My family aren't Christian really. But I was literally. I rebuked anything about religion because the way they teach you, it's not healthy. It's very ignorant. Again, we go always in the same thing. It's like they don't really like when you go to get your communion or get your confirmation, all this kind of stuff. No one cares about teaching you who Jesus is. All they tell you is, if you don't do this, you go to hell. And I was just like, no, I don't want to have anything to do with this until, I've grown up. And obviously I found my God on my own way. And, then I got here and I realized that this, people are not really like that. But it's wanting to be religious, like not even religious, wanting to believe in God in Italy. And you're someone who really believes, like, wants have integrity. It's very difficult because you'll always be against people who are very close-minded, and this is the reason why I'm here. Like, that's mostly why I left, because it's impossible to speak to people who will still have the same mindset of 1945. So that's why I'm saying racism.
Yeah, it's sad really, because you got to think about what was happening in 1945. Is Italy in 1945 is a war zone. It's
exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
but that's how they think. There's the older people mentally stayed there. So that's why I'm saying, like, sometimes I don't want to I never excuse my grandmother for saying what she says, but I get why she says it, because at the time they didn't even know. They've never seen anyone, and my grandmother, especially from Sardinia, so she comes from an island. So she's like, black people, who are they? I don't get it. And then she comes here. She doesn't say, she's not part of those people who say, oh, they come here to steal our jobs and all that stupidness. But she's still like, she doesn't understand that you can be curious and you can be disrespectful, and the line sometimes is very thin. And that's the line that she always crosses, basically. So. And older people just, they feel like, because, I'm just asking, they just feel entitled. And that's why sometimes I feel like she's like, but I'm not racist. I'm like, you can't say this. You can't go to someone and ask them, You know, it's just, and she's like, well, but I'm not racist. I don't think they're like that they are. I'm superior. I just think that. Da, da, da. I'm like, that's what you said. So,
You know what? It's a stereotype. I think from
Yeah.
the other side, looking at black people, I think some people have a step like they've got like a bias in their mind already. Like it's almost built in that
Yeah.
we are like a certain type of people. I'm just like,
Mhm.
just try and spend some time with people, because if you listen to just general news, I mean, in the last couple of years, you probably think every person that is Muslim is onto you, and they're gonna do a madness. And that's from mainstream news. Like
Yeah.
seriously, that's from mainstream news. So
So,
it's
bro, I'm
like,
gonna cut you up real quick. Yeah,
hit me up.
this is just a crazy scenario.
Yeah,
Somebody asked me a mad question.
what's
They
that?
said, "Oh, I hope I get this right." They said, "Which of these three scenarios would you feel most threatened by? If you was on a busy train and you look around the train and you see a bearded guy from the Middle East with a backpack praying. The other was a hooded black guy at night. I forgot what the other one was. Or no, this one was deep. Or a middle-aged white man in a room full of kids. Which one would you feel most threatened by, and which
Oh,
stuff?" And I was like, you can't
wow.
ask them questions. And I paused and I thought, those are all the
But then you know
sticky
the
things
answer,
which
right?
are just like raw. What? Go on, tell me.
You know the answer.
I don't, because I gave my answer and I felt so deep.
I think my answer is C. And very straightforward. My
Your answer is C.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
You know what?
that's because you're nice and thinking of the kids. I was thinking of myself.
I'll tell you
Innit?
what.
Mine would be the train.
Yeah,
Nah,
but then
man.
why do you
Nah.
think? But then you think that because
No,
what we
obviously it's
have
mainstream
been,
media. Yeah, it's what I've been
yeah,
programmed to think. Innit? This is gonna sound so deep. I'm gonna hear somebody shout Allahu Akbar in it, and I'm done in it.
I know. And to be fair, I remember like during the time there was like the Paris attack and all those
It was
things.
shortly after 7/7.
Yeah, I got back. Oh yeah, I wasn't here. I remember.
Oh yeah,
That's also my birthday. But yeah, I remember that. But no, I
yeah.
remember. Yeah, 7/7 is my birthday, so I remember like the whole world that day basically forgot my birthday, and that's what happened.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I mean that was a much deeper thing. No, but what was going? Oh yeah, after Paris, Bataclan, and what happened there? I remember like I got on the train, and I saw for the first time in my life, I was scared. I wasn't scared, but I was kind of like, I saw this man next to me was wearing this white tunic and a backpack and puffy jacket.
Yeah. Your
And
mind
for a
just
moment,
goes.
I didn't think, oh my gosh, I want to leave. I just thought, what if,
Yeah.
what if I have 10 minutes of my life, or even 5, and it's really
You start picking
sad.
up, texting everybody, telling them you love them, right?
Yeah, but I was really upset with myself that I got.
Yeah, no, I did too. I was too for
Listen.
even saying that.
It might sound messed up, but I feel like for a while, like the Muslim community took the heat off black folks for a minute.
That's what Dave
I feel
Chappelle
like
was
they took the
joking
heat
about.
off black folks for a minute. I feel like for a minute we
They
weren't
felt-
safe, but we weren't.
We weren't the center of attention.
We weren't the center of attention for a minute. Like, so it's like, and I feel bad because I've got a ton of Muslim friends, and honestly, they're great people. I don't understand. I just still don't get the concept of looking at someone else that's different to you and feeling a certain type of way towards them because they're different. Like, I don't understand why people do that. So it's a mad one.
It's a mad one, but it's the world that we live in.
Unfortunately,
it's very crazy. But you said the train. That's funny.
I'm still trying to decide which one of those scenarios I would decide on. It's mad.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, it's not really a black man hooded. I think for me, it will be a man hooded, but obviously because I'm a woman and it's a whole different,
Oh, that touches on that question we were talking about last week when they posed how would it be if there was no men in the world for 24 hours?
Oh,
and the replies that were coming out, they hit deep for me because I was like, "Bro, are we that bad? Like that you can't just walk down the street with headphones on and madness, and you can wear what you want and this that the other." I was just like, "That's cold."
It's really like it's deep. That's a very deep conversation because it's like I always constantly need to be aware of everything I do. Like even people Like today, I got an email saying, "You got an interview on this day. If you want, you can bring a guest." I was like, "Cool." I asked my boyfriend because like I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm like who's the person there, and I just feel like it's something that now it's ingrained in me because my mom as well has always been very adamant about making sure that I don't do stupid things. And unfortunately, it's sad because I had a conversation with some of my friends in Italy about this, and they were like, "Oh, but you can't tell someone that they're stupid because they don't." I was like, "Well, I don't judge them, but I just think that we have to protect. Like, there's no other choice. We have to protect ourselves."
Yep.
So making right choices. All this stems from the fact that my friend basically, when we're in high school, she was getting the bus at any time, and my mom would have killed. Like, she would never allow me to do that at 2 a.m. because in Italy it's not a safe thing to do at night. Whereas here, I feel a lot more comfortable to travel at night on
only certain buses.
Public. No. Well, I live in North London, so I live in Finchley area, so it's not that bad.
Yeah. You
But
don't
I
get
know
the
some
279.
areas- Yeah, no, I know. What's 279?
You don't want to
that
get the
bus-
279
that bus-
rolling from Tottenham, from Trafalgar Square all the way to flipping Enfield. You do not want to get on that bus.
Yeah, I know.
Basically
I
at
mean,
night.
buses. I got followed. Like one day, I was here. I live in like Finchley area, and one day I got off in the train station, and actually I saw this guy looking at me on the train. But again, it happens often, so I was like, I ignore them. I've just learned to, not. It's weird because I have to kind of find a way to ignore these people, hoping that they will just leave me alone. And that's already like a task on its own because it's like you have to find ways to either make sure that you pretend you're with someone else or be on the phone. Just find ways. Then I get off the train. I get to the bus stop. This was like 10 p.m. Get to the bus stop. I sit down and I was on my phone. I turn around. This guy was next to me on the bus.
Raw.
And luckily, there was a guy, Italian guy, speaking, like it was standing in front of me. And in Italian, I told him, it's like, this guy is going to follow him. If you see him getting off with me, please, can you stop him? And Italians are very, 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 like, possessive. Even if they don't know you, they're very jealous, like, man. So they're like, they will never, if they feel like a woman is in danger, they will be, like, super helpful. So luckily, he was getting off. So this guy stopped him. Otherwise, he would have gone off with me. And I don't know what would have happened. So I have to plan where I get off when I get home. I have to make sure that, obviously, I mean, I have quite a curvy body, so I have to be very, very aware of what I wear when I go past. Like, if it's dark, basically, I need to have a long coat. Otherwise, I need to get changed where I am.
Even in summer.
Oh yeah, like I can't. Like the thing for me of going to a club with a friend and wearing the same dress from my house to the club and back, it's not possible.
You're gonna be in luck because there's not gonna be any clubs anyway, so it's all
Well,
good.
now, right? That's good. Now there's no clubs. Well, I don't really go clubs like that. But if I want to, when you go out and you just want to wear a shorter dress than normal, I don't really go. Like, I don't wear anything crazy. But if you just want to wear something a bit more revealing, it's done.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't do it. Anyway, guys, we've been going for about 2 hours now.
Yeah, it's been long, right?
And the thing is, like, this could easily continue. But I've got to drop Mumsy to the airport tomorrow because she is going back to Ghana.
Accra.
But it's been, flying back home.
Come
But
on.
it's been a pleasure, Nicole. It's been a pleasure. Anybody still watching and people who will watch afterwards. Nicole Thalia Apocalypse is actually out now on all major streaming platforms. It's actually just across the bottom. Follow her on @Nicole Thalia Music. You've got Dan Mason as well. His is about to pop up on the screen now. Follow @DJ Dan Mason. My name is Kofi K-sizz. It's been a pleasure having you guys tonight.
Thank you.
We'll get you on again. 100% we'll get you on again.
Yeah, anytime.
Continue having these conversations and picking out these sticky situations.
Situations.
Above, because the thing is, it's like we could say it's not even wild things we're saying. We're just saying it like it is from our experiences. So it's sticky because it's the conversations that a lot of people don't want to have. And it's just about saying things with your chest and just being 100% honest about it. And we need more conversations like this. So anyway, next time we'll get some more people hopefully participating and throwing some questions. If you're watching afterwards, drop some comments in and we'll get to them in the next video. But until then, peace and love, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Bye, guys. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
No worries, man. Thanks for coming through.
Peace, guys. Take it
Bye.
All right,
easy.
man. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Learn life. There's levels to the shit.